Hey.
It's Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
Get your punk asses up.
All that on the Sunday morning. Copy. That is how you are becoming one with the Lord. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, goddammit, welcome.
Pod folk.
What's happening, y'all? How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling today? It's your boy Sincere Da Vinci.
And it's your boy Jay Honey.
And this is the JaySin podcast. What's happening? We hope y'all all had good weeks. Hope y'all listened and tuned in and paid attention to the gun violence special edition episode we did.
Please do if you haven't.
Last week. And I hope that maybe if nothing else, we might have sparked a mind that changes the world.
As Tupac once said.
Exactly.
May you rest in peace.
So today's show is going to be a little bit different. We usually touch on a bunch of different things. I feel like today is going to be a good show after such a heavy commentary last week. We're going to keep it a lot lighter this week. We're going to go ahead and today is going to be an all NBA show.
Yes.
We got about 10 to 13 topics we're going to tackle and then get up out of here.
Yes.
These are going to be shorter, quicker rounds of answering and explaining ourselves. But before we get into that, go get some merch. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, share, comment, do all that good stuff. Do everything that helps us continue to grow organically. Also, before we start, after this, we will be off for the next 3 weeks. We will not be back until July 10th. Mark your calendars. July 10th will be the first week we are back after vacation. July 10th, people. Okay? So we will remind you again.
So it seems like someone else is going on vacation.
Hey, don't worry about what I'm doing, okay? Don't worry about what I'm doing, okay?
Oh, man.
Worry about what I'm doing. I'm staying in the country. How about that?
Hey.
How about that?
All right.
So.
Sounds like a good thing.
Yes, sir. All right, so let's get into this.
Much deserved, yeah.
The Celtics and the Warriors.
Woo, what a series.
It is currently 2-2, which I thought it would be. I actually said that I thought it would be the Warriors in 5. But I said I would not be surprised if it was 6. I'm not surprised that it's 2-2. I'm surprised that each one has 1-1 on the opposing floor.
Correct.
I feel like, first off, the series has been highly entertaining. It has been way more entertaining than anything I could have asked for. This playoffs has been way more entertaining than anything we could have asked for. I do feel like the Warriors, I feel like they bit the bit a little bit in game 1. They let that game get out of what should have been an easy dub, walking out of home court. And
agreed.
21 points by Steph in the first quarter, and just they let that game slip away when they shouldn't have. But outside of really that, it's been really a great series. It's been fun to watch. The defense has been really good. Draymond's been a bit difficult to watch. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. And Draymond's going to talk his game. He's going to talk his shit. It just, you can't have a dude on the floor who's giving you 0 points in 30 minutes, 0 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 6 fouls.
Crazy.
Like that can't be. That's not a successful NBA final stat. That's not a successful stat line at any point, but definitely not in the NBA finals when you have dudes like Jordan Poole sitting on the bench. Not saying Jordan Poole is having a hell of a lot better series,
right?
But he's having a lot better series than
Draymond Green. Yeah, I think in this case, everyone is having a better series than Draymond Green. I mean, there's a stat out there. I think prior to Game 4, he had a total amount of 15 points and about 17 fouls. That screams non-production. I mean, he's been completely terrible, and I've been keeping Sincere close to the hip while watching these games. And I've been expressing to him how disgusted I am by Draymond Green's play. Like, he is not doing anything at the moment to try to help. He did have a key rebound in the last game this past Friday. It was Game 4, I believe. And that's the only thing that I could really say that was positive, that he had a key rebound, I think, under 3 minutes left. And that was about it. But we have people like Wiggins, who are unsung heroes, who should have been celebrated, in a manner of 17 points and 16 rebounds. That is amazing. That's exactly what the Warriors needed, because they were getting out-rebounded. And I feel like Kerr also made a good adjustment in the game by putting in Curry, I believe, to match up with Robert Williams. Is that the big man's name? I forget his name. The big man for the Warriors. The young big man.
Not Kuminga. Is it Kuminga?
Is it Kuminga?
Yeah.
Well, that adjustment that Kerr made kind of neutralized Robert Williams in a sense.
Jonathan Kuminga.
Jonathan Kuminga. Okay, thank you. I stand corrected. So that adjustment that he made with Kuminga was huge in that game, because he didn't allow Robert Williams to do whatever he wanted in that game. Because if we want to talk about unsung heroes, Robert Williams was that in Game 3, speaking, retrospectively. And Kerr found a way to kind of like neutralize that and not have him control the paint just on his own. And again, Wiggins was fantastic. I think Klay Thompson had a quiet almost 20 points. He had 18, 20 points on Friday in Game 4. Yeah, he hit a key shot also, in the clutch when he was needed. And I can't say enough about Stephen Curry at this moment. I mean, Stephen, Wardell, whatever you want to call him, he is just phenomenal. He is phenomenal beyond words. And for that injury that he went through,
yes,
in the previous game, to come out Game 4 and just show out and make that statement in front of the world like he did, it was just amazing. I was just mesmerized with everything. Plus, he wasn't getting no calls, bro.
No,
the refs are literally swallowing the whistle against the Warriors, and it plays, in favor to the Celtics because they're very aggressive defensively. And even though he wasn't getting the calls, he was lights out.
Yeah, incredible.
All net, incredible. Lights out, shooting.
Incredible. I also feel like I understand that I don't believe he's fully healthy.
No.
Klay has not been who he traditionally is. Klay is giving us slightly over 17% from the field, and he's only shooting 34% from 3-point. Let me give you a comparative stat. Steph Curry is shooting 49% from 3-point. Otto Porter is shooting 63%. Gary Payton Jr. is shooting 50%. Jordan Poole is shooting 36%.
Right.
I don't know what's happening. And on defense, he's a liability as of right now. He used to be what I would say I thought he was up there with Kawhi, one of the best two-way players. He's a step slower. He's not as physical. And that's a lot of why Jaylen Brown is going crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of why Jaylen Brown is going off.
Yeah.
And Marcus Smart has been playing out of his mind. I didn't know Marcus Smart shot. First of all, I didn't know Boston shot this well in general.
Yeah, they've surprised us, definitely.
Marcus Smart out here looking like Steph at points. Like he's looking great. So this leads us to another question. Is Wiggins a legit? If it ended today, would Wiggins be a legitimate MVP candidate?
I'd have to say quietly he is, because he's contributed the most, I think, outside of Steph Curry, in these current finals. And, with everything going on and Jordan Poole not being as consistent, Draymond Green being a complete mess, for instance, and Clay basically not being himself completely, I'd say yes, at this moment in time, he is a legit finals MVP candidate. And you spelled candidate wrong, I think.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
You said candidate.
Candidate.
They know.
Wrong.
They know.
I'm not fixing it right now. But
no,
yeah, I
okay.
definitely spelled it wrong. Sometimes when I be writing this shit early in the morning, bro,
it be on the fly, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, it don't. I don't be tripping. I don't give a fuck. Y'all listening. Y'all can read and listen. Anyway, I believe on another team, he's a legit MVP candidate. I believe he has probably been, throughout this entire playoffs, the most consistent Warrior outside of Stephen. The problem is Steph has conceded 2 MVPs already. He conceded one with Iggy.
Fact.
And then he conceded one with KD the year KD won it. And KD averaged 28 points a game and Steph averaged 27. He also averaged more assists. But KD still got it. I'm not saying that KD didn't deserve it. I'm saying it could have gone either way.
Of course.
With the way the rest of this team is playing right now, if the Warriors happen to pull this out with all of the Steph Curry don't show up in the finals talk, we're going to get to that. But with all that Steph Curry not showing up and he needed somebody else to carry, if Steph Curry finally gets over the hump with this one without any help, they got to give it to him.
Right.
But there's only 2 players on the starting 5 in the plus minus, which I set up, that are not negative. Stephen Curry, Andrew Wiggins.
Yep. Just like that.
Without Andrew Wiggins, and we discussed this, Andrew Wiggins needed to be in a place where he wasn't getting the Steph Curry microscope. I don't think, some of us don't deal well with that microscope.
Right.
Andrew Wiggins has not had that microscope on him. He gets talked about, but he's not looked at the way that Steph and Clay and Draymond are. He's able to go out there and he's almost looked at in the same way Jordan Poole is.
Correct.
If not slightly better. He's just able to go out there and play his game without the mental burden that comes with right. And he's thriving. So I would say, is he a legit MVP candidate? No, not this year, not on the team he's on, but he is the second best player on the Warriors right now.
Yeah.
Next question.
I'd agree.
Is Marcus Smart a legit choice for Finals MVP?
No, I don't think he is. Especially after Game 3, I felt like late he shot. He basically didn't do a good service basically for the Celtics. I think he shot him out of the game. Is what I meant to say previously, and I think he was pressing. He witnessed the pressure. He witnessed, Stephen Curry being Stephen Curry, and he kind of tried to match that same intensity, that same passion, late in the game, and it didn't work out for him. Maybe previous to Game 3, I'd say maybe it would be an argument that Marcus Smart would be a legit choice for Finals MVP. But I think that clearly goes to Jaylen Brown. I mean, the way he's been playing has been out of this world, and the moves and I never noticed how athletic he really was, until this series. Because I'll be quite honest, pod folk, I'm a Knicks fan. I don't really watch Boston basketball like that. I don't really watch playoff games that involve Boston. I really don't like anything Boston, to be quite honest. So, in that sense, you don't get to see, the true brilliance, of a player, until you see them in the biggest stage, usually, because I don't follow them in the regular season. So seeing what Jaylen Brown is doing, and, Tatum basically having, his glimpses, having his shots, and doing remarkable things as well. I'd say that's Browns all the way. If the Celtics were to somehow pull this out, I still have the Warriors in 6. And as I told someone in the barbershop yesterday, I would not be surprised if they still pull it off in 6, because what they did on Friday, I believe the Warriors are going to follow suit with Steph Curry. It's going to inspire them for tomorrow, Monday. I think the game is at 9.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to follow through the rest of the series. They're going to win the remaining games, and they're going to win it in 6. That's how I see it.
Okay. I feel like now, and I want to shout out a couple of these numbers because, again, we're talking about someone who, the reigning defensive player of the year, the only guard to get it since the glove, Gary Payton. A lot of what Marcus Smart doesn't show up on the stat sheet. A lot of what Marcus Smart doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Same thing with a lot of what Dennis Rodman and a lot of the defensive guys. There's no real way to measure Marcus Smart's true impact on the game by numbers, because what he adds on the floor defensively, his offensive game has grown exponentially, but defensively, being able to not just get steals and not just get rebounds, not blocks, not defensive statistics, but the off-ball defense he plays to prevent his man from ever getting the rock, the putting his body on the line anytime the ball is on the floor, putting his body on the line for charges no matter who's coming to the paint, looking more like a point guard on both ends of the court to know where everyone should be and calling it out and making sure everyone is accountable. The defensive anchor of that championship defense is Marcus Smart. There is no defensive cohesiveness without Marcus Smart. And on top of that, let's just talk about the finals. He is third in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
He is third in scoring behind the big two. Okay. He averages more assists than he's of these three. We'll just call those the big three. Okay. Right. He's third in scoring. He's second in assists. He's first in steals.
Right.
Believe it or not, he's second in free throw percentage. He's second in 3-point percentage.
Right.
He is first in field goal percentage. And he's second in turnover differential. He's only they average 6 more points a game than he does. But they average 6 to 8 more shots a game than he does.
Right, of course.
But he's shooting the ball better than they are.
On less attempts, right?
He's shooting the ball better on less attempts. He has more steals for less minutes on the floor. Like, I would say if the next game were to be the final game, and it was one of those games where Marcus Smart locked Steph up, like really showed his dominance.
Right.
I don't see why Marcus Smart couldn't walk away with that MVP.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't see why he can walk away with that MVP. But on to the real conversation here. Right now, Tatum or Brown?
The quick answer is, what can Brown do for you? Pretty much. This kid is playing out of his mind.
He is. And
he's keeping him in the game, and he has his hot and cold moments as well as Tatum does. Between, the most consistent, in between those two, I'd have to say Brown at this time, because there's been moments when, I don't know. Actually, excuse me. I have a question within this question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think we're expecting too much out of Tatum?
Yes.
In a sense where maybe he can't give us what we're looking for in him?
I feel like that's a loaded question, but I'm gonna give you the answer that I have.
Right.
We're not asking too much of him we're not asking too much of him. Mm-hmm. We're asking too much of him too soon.
Okay, I see.
Boston has gone through steps to step. They didn't. This is not their first time in the playoffs. These boys, Brown and Tatum, have been in the league 5 years.
Right.
Every year they've gotten substantially better. The team has gotten substantially better. They have done better in the playoffs. They've gotten further each time. Why do we think that this step would be any different? I'll give you a moment that, to me, I knew JaySin Tatum was going to have a bad series before we ever started.
Right.
When they were having the press days for both teams leading up to the finals. And during the press day, JaySin Tatum he says, "You'd be crazy to not be a little bit scared. Of course I'm nervous. Of course I'm scared. Look at all these cameras. I've never seen this many cameras. All the cameras, all the lights, all the media." He was shell-shocked already. Right. Before, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
I'm not saying this in a bad way.
No,
what I'm saying is, you dream about this stage as a kid. This is the goal. You want to be here. But you don't really know what that stage is until you get there. Those lights, that pressure. And you're expected to be that guy?
Yeah.
Your first time around?
Right.
Against the Monstars, nigga?
Exactly.
Against multiple time championship team, the Warriors, with the new blood, with Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, and Porter. I'm expected to be the guy against them on the biggest stage.
It's like you're saying, it benefits your argument where we're expecting too much from him too soon.
If this was a year or two from now, I would say we're not expecting too much. We're not expecting too much. Tatum has greatness in him. We see it. We see it.
We've seen the glimpses. Yeah.
It's not a question of, is it in him?
Right.
There are flaws in his game that are purely mental. This is a statistic. He's missed more dunks and layups than any other NBA player in the league.
Yeah.
How does someone that talented miss that many layups?
Correct. When that's the highest percentage of a shot you can have in a basketball game, basically.
He shot 18% from 2-point in this series. Up until last game. That was the lowest in the shot clock era.
Yeah. Sure was.
His free throw percentage has dropped exponentially. If you can't tell me what he's having are mental problems, these are the examples of the shakes. He's not confident in it.
No.
Jaylen Brown didn't have that pressure. But here's the thing, and this is how I don't want to say anything about Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown is playing great. But Jaylen Brown is playing great now. Jason Tatum is great. I believe Jaylen Brown isn't there yet. He's the Batman to Tatum's. He's the Robin to Jason's Batman.
Correct, and he's coming of age slowly.
Right, but what I mean to say that for is because we say that Jaylen Brown is having a tremendous final, right? And that Jason Tatum is struggling.
Right.
They average the same points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum averages 4 more assists
than Brown.
Tatum averages more steals. He averages more blocks. He averages the same amount of rebounds.
He's a better all-around player.
He's a better all-around player, and his stats are still better, if not as good, than Jaylen Brown after 4 games. And we say he's struggling.
Right. It's not the Tatum that we're all expecting to see.
But Brown is overachieving.
Right.
And he is only as good as Tatum struggling. And I agree with you. At this moment, the Celtics are going to go as far as Jaylen Brown and the rest of them boys take them. But how they got here was on the back of Jason Tatum.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that because, in the Nets series, Tatum showed out. In the Bucks series, Tatum definitely showed out. When they played against Miami, he also showed his ass off in those games, bro, if you looked at them. He may be a little bit shell-shocked, of the moment right now, in the NBA Finals. And it's just going to be an interesting series moving forward. So I think in the end, us as fans just win, because it's a competitive finals. It's toe for toe. It's a chess match. We don't know the true outcome of the game. And it's just amazing all around. And it's a benefit to all of us, who love basketball, basically.
True. All right. Are the Nets done?
What made you draw up this question?
Because I want to know what you think. Are the Nets done? Is it over? Do they need to pack it up?
I don't think it's completely done for them because, they have a future in terms of picks. So I don't think they're completely done. I just wouldn't necessarily put them at a championship level at this moment, just to be honest. And it's going to take, I think, some switches in the front office. And I think they need a switch in coach still. Like, I'm still like, I still believe in my mind that Nash is not the guy for the Nets, and they need a better coach, I believe, who can take command and who could grab KD and Kyrie by the ear and let them know who's the coach of that team. And I don't know. I think that's what distinguishes the average coaches from the great coaches, the ones that can actually find ways to neutralize or maybe even somewhat control, the emotions of their superstar players. And I feel like Steve Nash is not doing a great job at that, and I'll go back to the comments KD made, saying that, they really don't need a coach. They could just go out there and play. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing.
That was Kyrie. Yeah, that was Kyrie.
That was Kyrie that said that. I'm sorry. And, that all goes to show that some type of change is needed, from the front office, from the coaching staff as well. And I'm not going to say they're done, as much as it pains me to say that as a Knicks fan, but I just think that they need some changes in order for them to move forward and to be a championship caliber team, because at this time they are not.
The Nets are a championship caliber team who don't have the structure needed to be a championship team. They don't. They don't have
That's
it.
fair.
They have the pieces. When Joe Harris comes back, I think he adds another dimension to the team. I don't know what's going on with Blake Griffin, but I loved what Blake brought to the team. I love what he brought in the playoffs when he got inserted and gave that energy to the team. But it feels like it's KD, Kyrie, and then the rest of them niggas.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like that's what it feels like. It feels like KD, Kyrie, and the rest of them niggas. Like even with Steph and them boys, it's the Warriors. They move the ball. They move it around. You see how happy Steph is when Jordan Poole does something crazy. You don't see that from Kyrie and from KD. You don't see that from the leadership down. And the talent is there. They are as talented as any roster, I believe, in the NBA. If you want to talk just talent from the top to the bottom.
Yeah. On paper.
Which is why I'm not saying that it's done. But they don't have the structure or the coaching. I don't know if it's fair to say it's Steve Kerr's fault. I mean, not Steve Kerr.
Steve Nash.
Steve says Steve Nash's fault because the reality of it is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. If KD and Kyrie are uncoachable, they're uncoachable. Like there are certain players who just you are not going to get them to fall in line. As talented as Kyrie is, why do you think he's on his fourth team?
Yeah.
Talents like Kyrie Irving don't bounce around teams.
Nope.
They don't. It's because of what comes along with having Kyrie.
Yeah. A lot of baggage.
KD is a little bit different because he chose his destinations. He chose he wasn't traded. He chose his destinations when his contracts were over. And he wanted to go to these destinations. He wanted to leave OKC and that situation with Westbrook and head to the Warriors. He wanted to leave that Warriors situation after the incident with Draymond definitely pushed him out the door and go to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie.
Right.
The Nets are not done. They just need structure. Will they get it or not is the better question. But
right.
They are not done. It is what it is. So
that's fair.
What can the Lakers do to fix their team?
Short answer, nothing. I don't know. You spoke about structure, and coaching. I think they just signed Darvin Ham, I believe.
Yep. What's good, Thickums?
Hey, Barbie. And
shout out to Just too. Shout out to Justin going ahead getting in the army. That boy a grown man now. Look at him.
Yeah, that's Barbara's son, Pop.
Yeah, out here, grown man in it.
Yeah, he out here serving the country. Salute to that man.
Yes, sir.
But the Lakers have a lot more troubles, I think, than a lot of teams in the NBA. And they do have a lot more troubles than the Nets. I mean, I don't know. I question even that hiring that they made of Coach Ham. It's like
the players seem to be happy about it.
They seem to be happy about it, but I guess I'm looking at it from like a 30-foot scope. I'm looking at it from the outside in, kind of, per se. And I just don't see anything good coming out of this. LeBron is still aging. He's going to be 1 year older. There are a lot of players as well that are just washed up on this team, and they need to make, I don't even know if they have draft picks, to like try to offset the things that are going on in LA. But in the direction that they're going in, I truly see them struggling, especially with a lot of teams that are rising in the West. And I could easily see the Lakers not being in the playoffs for like the foreseeable future, the way they're going about things at this moment. And They just don't convince me, Sin. They don't convince me at all with any moves that they're making at this moment. And again, they got a bunch of players who are just growing older and older and older. They're not trying to fix the nucleus of the team. They're not trying to like improve it in any way possible. It just seems like they're just marred by constant drama, and it just seems more of like of a basketball reality team than it does a real professional team. And I just don't see anything good coming out of Lakerland for the next few seasons.
The Lakers are going to make the playoffs this upcoming season. If Anthony Davis can be healthy, they're going to be a problem. I say that because
and that's a big if, and he grows a year older as well.
Right. I say that completely dependent upon if he is healthy or not. Because if he is healthy, they are dangerous with LeBron and Westbrook. I don't know what gets I don't know what the feelings are behind Ham. I don't know what the feelings are behind Westbrook, but him opting out of his contract, it is his option. It is his player option to opt out. But he's guaranteed $47 million this year if he opts in. He's not opting out. He's returning.
Of course.
Because if he leaves, he'd be lucky to get vet minimum probably somewhere.
Exactly.
I feel like he's gonna opt back in. Optics are gonna be decent, like as far as who's getting along and who's not getting along, and the optics of it will look better, which in perception might help. And I think for that team, perception is everything, because right now they are perceived as broken. They are perceived as not one. They are perceived a lot of negative ways. There's a lot of You're talking about a kid who averaged triple-double, bro. I don't care what you say about him. That's immense amount of athleticism and talent. You're talking about LeBron James. You're talking about AD. There is an immense amount of talent on that team. If they can stay healthy and get it together on the same page at any moment, boy, they are going to be scary. So,
nah, bro. I disagree there.
I believe it. The thing is, I said
you can't put scary and Lakers in the same sentence at this point.
I said last year it wasn't going to work because I knew what they were getting themselves into. This year, it's not a surprise. They know the pieces they have, and you adjust for that. I don't think that the coach comes in and goes, we should be a full court pressing. Oh, you're not built for that no more. You're not built for full court alley-oops. This not Miami. Russ, you're not built to run the ball here. I think that these are changes. That doesn't change the amount of talent that is there. But I knew it was going to be a shit show from Jump Street because you had too many personalities. Too many people.
Too many Chiefs.
You had too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. And I feel like now niggas have looked and gone, okay, well, that was fun after a year. We can't do this again. So what do we do? And I feel like that's where we are.
Right.
I'm not saying they're going to be scary. I'm saying they have the ability to be scary.
Okay. Fair enough. Thanks, Barbs.
Steph or Iverson?
Oh, man. That's quick.
Steph or Iverson?
Iverson. Definitely.
If you're starting a franchise, you want Steph or Iverson?
Allen Iverson. I'll go with him because at least him and the mother niggas that was with him, in his prime, went to the finals. So, and he's also an MVP as well. So you got to put that up there. He also led the league in scoring for a few, for some seasons as well. And he just put on for his team completely. And I'm a bigger fan of Iverson than I ever was of Steph, and it has nothing to do with Brooklyn. They already know how I feel about them. But AI was someone that was very relatable in a sense to me. You know, he was a tall. He wasn't even a tall. He was a slim guy. You know, and I think he was barely 6 feet. So he was closer to, you know, my height basically, which I happen to be about 5'11". And it was just something to see. You know, I felt like when Iverson came into the league, he just brought this freshness with him. And he brought his own version basically of the crossover post Tim Hardaway. And I just basically feel like he set a new precedent. No, he wasn't the most efficient player, but I think the enthusiasm and the attitude that he brought to the game captivated us completely. And, you know, even with his sneakers, you know, is something that we all followed. And even his sneaker commercials. I remember when he came out with that joint with Jada Kiss, that was amazing. You know,
that shit was fire.
And the fact of the matter is, so many changes were made because of Allen Iverson and the way he played. You know, and especially the wardrobe change was due to the fact with Allen Iverson, because he would show up to games in like a do-rag, you know, baggy jeans at that moment with some Tim boots and probably like a football jersey or something like that. And he was just his true self. And that was something the NBA couldn't handle at that moment. And I just believe, you know, as a guard, as a scoring guard, because I think that was the first time that I've ever heard of that term, scoring guard, and it was with Allen Iverson, because he brought about a different style of play for a point guard that they even had to like force him to play shooting guard because of his approach to the game. And I feel Iverson basically spawned players like Kyrie, for instance, like Stephen Curry. He spawned players like Ja Morant today, you know, and I don't know. I felt like he set a bunch of trends, and I'll always be a bigger fan of Allen Iverson than of Stephon Marbury. So I always pick Iverson.
Okay, so Steph Curry and Iverson.
Mm-hmm.
The question at hand was who I would want to start.
Oh, was Stephon Marbury or Stephon Curry?
Steph Curry.
Oh shit! I'm thinking you're talking about Stephon Marbury for some reason. I'm over here talking about Brooklyn and all of this. No. Then in this case, no. I made a huge mistake, Pop. We're gonna go with Stephen Curry here because he's a more refined version, I think, of Allen Iverson. He's a multi-time champion. He's put on for the city, you know, of the Bay Area, basically, and he's revolutionized the game of basketball.
This just lets me know something. You a New York ass nigga.
I know, right? That I'm thinking about Stephon Marbury.
Bro, nobody else in the world would have seen this and been like, "Oh, you talking about Marbury? This nigga got to be talking about Marbury. That nigga talking about Starbury. That nigga talking about Starbury on here. Let me get my Starburys on. Like,
my bad.
You a New York nigga. You're a New York nigga.
I am through and through and proud. And you are too, mofo.
I am too, but goddamn, at least I knew we were talking about Curry out this motherfucker. Goddamn. This nigga Cuddy fool. Barbara says she's going with Steph.
Yeah, of course.
I'm going with Steph too.
Yeah, I'm going with Steph. Yeah, of course.
I gotta go. I love Iverson, and it took a lot of my nostalgia to fight saying it out loud because Iverson was one of my favorite. I loved watching Iverson. I remember being in the park practicing the crossover where he threw it behind and spun around. And I remember all that. But the reality of it, if I'm starting a franchise, the GM Sincere is taking
Stephen Curry. Wardell Stephen Curry. Yes, sir.
Gotta take. Gotta take Steph.
All right. Of course.
So
my bad.
Another question. Does CP3 ever get a ring?
Oh my gosh. It pains me to say this, but I don't think he gets a ring. I think the West is just too much at this moment. And there are a lot of teams rising in the West. You know, you have the likes of Denver, you have the likes of Memphis that are going to be road bumps, you know, and I think the Warriors are still going to be present. CP3 is basically on, I believe, his last sector of his career.
I think it's over.
And
that's
a totally fair argument. I think it's over as well. I think his best chance to get a ring was actually a year ago. And that didn't come to fruition. And then this season, they played so well during the regular season. I believe they entered as the number 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken. And they were throttled. And I just see the window completely closed for CP3.
First off, CP3 has had a lot of chances.
Many.
He's been like when they had the Warriors down in Houston, and he pulled that hammy.
That was a great chance for him as well.
That was a chance for him. He's had chances, and he can't get right. He can't get right.
Well, it's not really a him thing, because we have to remember, Sincere, that basketball is still a team sport.
It is.
So,
but that's what
you can't put so much on just one person. You know,
when I say
everyone's
he can't get right,
perform collectively.
When I say he can't get right, I'm not saying necessarily him. I'm just saying his surroundings, like the circumstance. He just be having some of the worst luck. But the question at hand is, does CP3 ever get a ring? The answer is no.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer, basically, you know, without a ring. Like many great Hall of Famers that we've seen in all sports.
There you go. You go. Next question. After all this time and time off and injuries and everything else that has come along with it, is Zion Williamson still that guy? Do you believe that he is still that guy?
I don't think there's a short answer for this particular question, because he's such an enigma. So you don't know what's going to come out of Zion. But if I want to say that could he be the guy? I don't know. I can't answer that question. So I guess it would have to be no. And I feel like at some point he's going to have to leave the Pelicans, you know, to show his true worth, you know, as a player. Because right now his stock is at the bottom of the barrel. And he hasn't played games. I don't think he's proved anything in the league as of yet. He hasn't been present at all. So I don't understand how can anyone confirm or make an argument that he is the guy still, even after all this.
I warned everybody before this happened.
Fortune teller Sincere.
I warned everybody.
You put the tarot cards.
They'll never listen to me.
You put the tarot cards on the table for them, Sincere?
I said before he wasn't that guy. Zion Williamson is extremely talented.
Of course.
But he was extremely young, extremely heavy. And the way your body and your joints respond to that as you get older and as you deal with injuries is not favorable to the NBA athlete. So, is he that guy? No. Next.
I don't know, bro. Wait, before you go.
Yes.
This whole Zion situation. I don't know if you're gonna agree with me, Podfolk, or not, but this shit is giving me Greg Oden vibes, like all over again for some reason.
Yeah, very much so. Except he's way more talented than Greg Oden.
Oh, of course.
But the same shit, yeah.
Yeah, same shit, different toilet. Next.
All right, so those big three: Zion, RJ, and Cam. Who has had the best career so far?
Wait, he's Cam
Reddish, RJ Barrett, and Zion. The three at Duke. The big three at Duke that came in the league. Who is having the best career so far.
I want to say, I'm going to be biased here. I'm going to say RJ Barrett in this case is having a better career than Zion and Cam. I feel like he's getting better gradually, and he's fitting into his role, with the Knicks, as he should. Obviously, he's not going to be the main piece, of the team. We thought it was Randall at one point. Obviously, that's not the case today. But but I sincerely think that RJ is actually having the better career so far, and I think he's going to continue to improve. And in the end, he will be better.
Cam Reddish.
Okay.
Cam has found his spot. I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
I believe Cam is going to end up with the best career, the longest career, the most fruitful career,
right,
of the three.
Right.
I think that he is at least as good, if not better, than what people thought he would ever be.
Right.
He is a Western Conference champion. He is a NBA Finals playing guard.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that neither of these two can say. And he might not be a quote-unquote a starter every game for them, but he plays significant minutes. His role is just as important, if not, more important coming off. I feel like coming off the bench, leading the second unit on a championship or a hopeful championship team is more stressful than running the offense on a team that's not very good and not expected to do much.
Right.
So, who's had a better career? To me, it is Cam Reddish. Sorry. Last question before we get out of here. Jay?
Yes, sir.
Fix the Knicks in 60 seconds.
I don't even need 60 seconds to fix them. I could fix them in 5 seconds. James Dolan needs to die. That's it.
All right. Well, after James Dolan's dead, you still have this roster of fuck shit that is happening. So how do you fix the fuck shit?
Better structure, better management, better culture. It will be, it will be positive, for the Knicks if they were to do something like that. They just have to switch and just turn around the whole culture, make players want to look at New York again, and that's basically where it starts. But it has to start with the death of James Dolan, at least. That it has to start with, and I know a lot of Knicks fans wholeheartedly agree with what I just said. As dark as it is, I just feel like he just has to step away, period, in order for us to move forward as a franchise or to ever live to see a championship in New York. And that's how I sincerely feel. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
I'm trying to figure out what my 60 seconds is going to say. Get rid of Dolan. Get rid of Julius. Get rid of RJ. Honestly, everybody on the team goes on the trading block. Every single nigga on the roster.
So it's like you're scrapping everything and starting over again, basically.
Correct. And I want to see what I can make for the pieces that are offered to me.
Right.
Like if I get, if someone is offered, if I put Julius Randle up and somebody's offering me nothing for him, then it doesn't hurt. I don't have to take it. But if I put Julius Randle up and somebody comes back and goes, I'm willing to give you Capella and you know,
right.
Capella and Trae Young for. Hell yeah, I want that.
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't give you Trae Young, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if someone's like, hey, Julius, I'm going to give you Julius, or you could take Steph Curry, Tobias Harris, and a second rounder.
Right.
I want that. I want that.
Anything I could get.
I want that. So that's
you sound like Isaiah Thomas making a bunch of trades right away. and scrapping things.
That's because we know what's there doesn't work.
Right.
There's no need to keep. Look, I don't need to burn my hand on the stove 4 times to know not to touch that motherfucker. One time. And I might not even be the motherfucker touch the stove. You might touch the stove. And it burn you. And I'm gonna go, oh, that nigga touched that and it burnt his ass. I ain't fucking with that over there. I don't need to keep burning myself or hitting my head against a fucking wall to realize something ain't working. You gotta do something different. Mm-hmm. That roster don't work. I don't need a whole another year to figure that the fuck out. If I'm in there,
fair enough.
Get them the fuck up out of here. Let's see what we can get for what we have. Start with that. Start with the new culture. Right. And let's see what we can build.
But, you know, now that you're mentioning that, I think about when Donnie Walsh was the president and he was canned. And I felt like he did a spectacular job with the Knicks. And he did it with little supervision, obviously, from up top, from Dolan. And the Knicks were actually successful. Like they finally reached the playoffs after like a decade long or something like that. J.R. Smith was 6th man of the year. Carmelo Anthony, I think, had won the scoring title. And like things were just like on the up and up, you know, with the Knicks and the kind of team they had assembled at that moment. And we all of a sudden like just lost that completely and dived back to mediocrity, which is, you know, totally unacceptable because I think us as Knicks fans, we have the strongest hearts. Hey, mama. We have the strongest hearts as Knicks fans, and I think we're very loyal because we're still supporting a garbage team. You know, we're still filling up the seats. We're still filling up the garden for an owner that's not deserving of that. And I'd like to make a calling, you know, to the season ticket holders and everyone who considers themselves a Knicks fan. Don't support a product that's not doing the most in order to satisfy your needs. We need to like form some type of strike as fans, not attend these games, make them lose tons of money so they can start making the changes that they need to make to satisfy our needs as fans. I don't think we're obligated to support garbage. And that's what my Knicks have been for many of seasons. And that's just how I honestly, brutally feel at this moment. I even get a little bit upset talking about the Knicks. I don't even want to talk about the Knicks anymore.
I agree with it. I agree with you. All right, y'all. It's been a pleasure again. We will be off for the next 3 weeks. The next show will be July.
And it's Sin's fault because he's going on vacation.
I'm going on vacation and I'm moving. So when you see me, I will be in the new studio space. I will be in the new space. We might even have a song to debut for you. We'll see what happens.
Oh, sounds like a surprise.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I wonder who's gonna be on that song.
We might have some new music for you, man. We'll see what happens. But yes, go subscribe, follow,
get that merch,
do all that. And most importantly, be safe.
Yes.
Be safe out here.
Be safe. Stay blessed, pod folk. Stay positive.
We'll
Shout out to everybody out there. Happy early Father's Day to all the great fathers out there who are taking care of their own, as they should, obviously.
We are not saying Happy Father's Day to your mothers who
please.
No.
Get these bitter women out of here, please.
We didn't do that. We didn't do that to no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not telling you ladies Happy Father's Day.
No, we're not. Kick rocks. Get out of here.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
One time.
Yeah. Get some painters on the merch. All right, we're We're gonna get some panties, and then you're gonna go ahead and model them on the page.
That sounds good.
Thank you, Thickum, for volunteering.
Yes, thank you for that idea.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
We're gonna get some boy shorts and some panties, and you're gonna get them, and we're gonna give you some, and you're gonna model them on the page for us.
Right. We don't have to see your face.
Thirst trapping. Exactly. Thirst trapping all over at its finest.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
And get you more followers on IG.
Hey, get us more followers on IG. What are you talking about? All right, everybody, be safe, be happy.
Yeah.
We out of here.
Be yourself.
All right, y'all.